Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, making some really good trades, and yep, let's just get into it. And right now, we can see that Bitcoin is back to 20,187, and honestly, it's not back anywhere really because it's been chopping sideways, not really doing much. I know, in my opinion, Bitcoin's waiting for that move on Friday, as we are going to get the non-farm payrolls, and you know what, tomorrow is actually going to be the first day of the month. So we might see a little bit of market volatility there as well, as pension funds start allocating, regularly, automatically, and you might see a little bit of inflow of cash into the market. So maybe we'll see a little bit of volatility. Actually, let me just check what the news is tomorrow. I believe tomorrow we have a lot of news coming out all over the world, but mostly in the US, it's going to be unemployment claims and the ISM manufacturing PMI. Yeah, other than that, we're going to be waiting for the non-farm payrolls on Friday. Let's see what they're going to be. Now, moving on to Bitcoin, we can see we have a 24 right now and a -5 on the DBSI. We have a big green dot that we got a couple days ago, but price really hasn't done much since then. Are we forming a bottom for Bitcoin, getting ready to move back up towards the upside after maybe forming a potential W pattern, or are we getting ready for our next leg down? Now, Bitcoin could easily start to, come up right here, maybe come up to 21,000 like this. But, we could easily get another leg down, at which points maybe the momentum waves curl back down as well. But you get a little bit of a divergence. Maybe the price will move a little bit lower. We could maybe go back up to 18,800. And then, you'll get another green dot here. That's the point where you want a long. And then, off to the races we go. Back up to 25,000, but a lot of stuff needs to change in the markets. Right now, the S&P 500 is selling off pretty aggressively, selling into the close as per usual. As you guys can see, big red candle on the last 15 minutes of the day going towards the downside. So lots of selling pressure right now on the S&P, lots of panic selling. And on top of that, I believe Nvidia is down over 6% on some pretty bad news between China and US, I think. So that's not doing too good. Obviously, we just picked up Nvidia today on one of our swing trades, so that's okay. We only have a starter position, and we can easily allocate more capital to it. And so far, I think our stock trades have been off fire. We are up handsomely. I think we're up over $10,000, $20,000. Let me check. I don't really keep track of it. I just keep posting trades for you guys. I think we're up $10,500 so far since trading in April, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, let's keep going right now. Let's keep our analysis on Bitcoin, where we could be going. Again, Bitcoin could potentially rally back up to 24,000. Maybe we'll get rejected at this point where we have a lot of confluence. But, in my opinion, I don't really see that happening. Potentially, Bitcoin has actually a bigger chance to come back down to around 18,000 to 17,000, and then getting a very strong bounce from those levels. And then we could probably go back towards the upside. Maybe you'll get a big divergence to the RSI as well. So that'll be nice to see. But again, market conditions are pretty bad right now. I was actually expecting a bounce around that 50-day moving average, and we're actually breaking through it at the moment. So next levels of support that I'm going to be looking at on the S&P 500 or the SPY would be around the 381 level or the 390 level, which is right here around these previous pivots. As you can see, let's take a look. We'll just draw a little bit of a line right here for you guys. So around these levels, I expect some support on the S&P 500. Sorry, the SPY, basically the same thing, around 390 to 381. So 390 is going to be your minor support. Then you're going to have your major support around 381. After that, you got 354 and 333. But at that point, maybe the market's starting to crash, because then you're going to be taking out these previous lows. And you know what? Jim Cramer keeps saying that the lows are in, and he's very bullish. And that is the biggest indicator that we are going to go down, because everything he says, the opposite happens. I can probably tweet out a few things. I think I keep retweeting everything that Jim Cramer keeps saying. That's actually very funny. We like Coinbase at 475s, and now Coinbase, let's take a look at where Coinbase is. Coinbase is absolutely collapsed it down to $66. Look at this chart right here. A huge move from it didn't even get to 475, but they thought it was going to go to 475. You know what? It's just been consistent selling ever since then. And I think he said recently that Cramer says avoid all speculative investments like crypto as the Fed stays hawkish. Now, he did say this on August 30th. So this is actually a pretty bullish sign, but overall, he's been saying lots of bullish and bearish things. I think before this big crash that we had, I think he said markets look good, ready to go up from here, and then we started to go down. So maybe we are going to get a bit of a rally in the cryptos and a rally in the markets, because right now he's saying to avoid all cryptos, right? He's saying avoid all speculative investments like cryptos as the Fed stays hawkish. So maybe, you know, the CPI numbers are going to go down, and then we'll get a bit of a bullish rally. And then he's going to say, all right, it's time to get back in, all in the markets. And then we're going to get a huge reversal down towards the downside. So that's going to be interesting to see how the Jim Cramer inverse ETF works. Obviously, that's not financial advice. You guys can do your own research, but it's just very funny to see. It's on Twitter. You guys could probably go follow that account. But yeah, moving on, let's take a look at a few other cryptos that we're still holding right now, are still holding our positions. We're still short Aave at the moment, and we are still short BNB. So let's take a look at those two right there. I know a lot of people want to see those, and maybe we'll give you guys some updates on what I'm looking at right now. We can see that big BNB is, you know, retesting the support right now. Not something I like to see too much. Maybe we are going to get another move down to potentially 245 and 90 cents. But ultimately, right around this area was where I was basically shorting, and I was telling you guys I was entering some short positions around the 337 to 322 levels is where we were building our shorts. And look exactly what happened. We took a big dive down. We are up over 10% right now on our trade. Actually, maybe a little bit more since the price came back down. I think we're up a little bit more than that. I think we're up 13% on that trade, and we are short Aave as well. I told you guys we're shorting Aave around $95.10, right around this resistance area, and that's exactly what happened. Aave taking another dive towards the downside, but today, you know, getting a couple nice pumps in the last couple of days. I believe, yeah, getting some nice candles up, but some pretty heavy wicks there, so you're seeing some selling pressure. Now, overall, you guys know where I stand on Bitcoin. Obviously, in the long term, 3 to 5 years, still think Bitcoin will probably go up higher as the Fed ultimately will pivot and stimulate themselves into infinity, and the dollar will plummet over a long period of time. But right now, they're tightening, or at least they're showing us a tightening, you know, face, and they're being very hawkish and bearish, and oh, they're very strong, and they're gonna tighten us all the way to until inflation gets back down to 2%, but they will probably not be able to do that, as something in the economy will eventually break. Maybe it's housing, maybe it's a big hedge fund, maybe it's a big financial institution that's going to go bust because of all the rate hikes. And at that point is when they're going to start to pivot. And housing is actually taking a very heavy beating right now. So it's actually pretty scary to see that going, and they're still going to raise the rates even more. Housing sales have plummeted. I've talked about this many times. I said housing sales are going to start plummeting as, you know, they raise the rates significantly, and people are like, what does that mean? They haven't plummeted at all. The housing is still so strong. It's rock solid. And you know what? Eventually housing sales start to plummet, and they are plummeting right now. And now people are saying, well, you know what? Prices haven't gone down. That doesn't matter. Prices won't go down. And you know what? What's probably gonna happen is prices will probably start to go down eventually, and then they're gonna be like, oh my god, no one could have seen this coming. But obviously none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion. Clearly I've been right in the past couple of years and months about inflation and housing, but yeah, let's just see what happens, guys. I know there are a lot of people that disagree with me, and I like to see that people have their opinions as well and can explain to me why they think housing and stuff will still go up. I think Paul in the Discord was telling me that they will raise rates to like 10% and housing will still go up. So that is a very interesting theory in my opinion, that Paul still has to explain it to me a little bit more in depth, because I still don't understand how housing can go up with a rising rate environment. Maybe with massive stimulus, with massive rates, housing can maybe keep going up. But again, you need some massive subsidies to probably sustain that. It's a very interesting theory that Paul has. But yeah, I respect his opinion. If that's what he wants to think, absolutely. And I still think Bitcoin will probably go down to 9,000, maybe even below 9,000 to recover some vector candles down here around the $5,000 to $13,000 area. A lot of people think that's impossible. Absolutely not. You'll never see a $13,000 Bitcoin ever again. Now is the time to buy, but you know, let's just see what happens, guys. Time is what we have, and let's just see what happens, because you know, you don't need to go all in around these levels. That's actually not proper risk management. Going all in is never the way to go. Obviously, maybe sometimes at around the very bare like bottoms, you could probably allocate a little bit heavier, but again, it's up to you. It's up to your risk tolerance. Do what you want. Ultimately, I still think Binance will go down to $40. You know, there's just giant pocket of air right here. Probably gonna go down, recover the $39 and $40 area. Same thing for Aave. You gotta get some big collapses in Aave as well. Maybe we're gonna go down to $50 around the previous lows, maybe even lower. But yeah, you guys know where I stand. Just giving you a little bit of a market update on where I'm still, you know, positioning myself. Obviously still a little bit bearish, but again, I'm not biased or anything because I hold shorts and longs, so it's not like I'm all in on my shorts. I obviously am short and long all the time, and I'm always taking some profits here and there. So if you guys want to see my trades, you guys can join the Discord. The link's in the description. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You guys can actually sign up for Big Get Training, which is the link in the description, and that's where I do all my crypto trades. Love you guys. Talk to you guys later. Peace.